All righty. What is happening, people? How we doing? How we living? How we
Yeah.
feeling? It is just hours away. Well, yeah, about
Yeah,
half a
less than
day now
24 hours.
from Sunday football beginning. Obviously, college football is doing its thing right now. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. Be a friend as today's stream starts and hit that like button. We got a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I know we can do it. Um, But we are going to answer all your questions today. Keep in mind that super chats will get answered straight away. Otherwise, we will go in order from top to bottom with the normal questions. But if you do want to skip the queue, super chat is an option for you. But we do have a question via our website to start off the stream. And if you are new or you haven't heard just yet, you can ask us a question at any time through our website. I'll put a link here in the chat. And that is what someone has done here. So let's just quickly have a little geese, shall we, at this question via the
Mm-hmm.
website. Shout out to Billy, um, who submitted this one. It's a trade question, okay? And I actually think um, if I'm not mistaken, he sent a message as well in the chat. So let me just double check this before we. He says running back, if Jacobs is gone, will be Mason, Ford, and Moss. Okay, so um, all right, so Billy, it looks like he is receiving Jamar Chase and Trey McBride in this deal. He is sending away Sam Laporta, Josh Jacobs, and Devontae Adams. It's a one quarterback, 12-team league, start seven. There is no tight end premium. It is PPR. All right, so start seven, a relatively smaller format.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this is
if
for me. This is pretty easy. I want Jamar Chase and Trey McBride.
yeah,
But I know with the context that makes it a little bit more difficult because
yeah,
then his running backs are, his running backs aren't as strong.
yeah.
Um,
I would argue
Mason
like
Ford,
when CMC's
Boston
back, you
Ford.
don't really have a starting running back. You have one that you can flex
Yeah,
with Mason
I think like
or
without,
Moss, but
yeah, I think what I would do is try and I don't know, maybe in this trade, but I love having Jamar Chase and Trey McBride, and then seeing what you can potentially get for Mason before CMC does come back or sell him to the CMC owner.
yeah.
That's a risky move for sure because if you can't get that deal done, you're kind of effed.
Hmm.
But that is
I
something that I would be looking into if I possibly could.
I love Trey McBride. I think he's my tight end one rest of season, but I wouldn't be doing this deal. I just don't think he has the running back depth to do it. Um,
Yeah,
and I think Josh Jacobs is going to be much, much better whenever Jordan Love comes back. If that's this week, if that's next week, I don't know. Devontae Adams, this team is passing the ball a ton. They are not running the ball. We'll see if that trend changes. I do think Jamar Chase is going to go off this week. He's my wide receiver one in my week three rankings. But I am not comfortable enough personally to take this side, so I would choose the Sam Laporta deal. Now, we can maybe counter this. Um, like on his side, can we add a name? Like, let's add a Jonathan Brooks here. And no, it's a start seven, man.
yeah,
I just feel like you need a hammer like Jacobs.
yeah.
Who
It's
the
definitely
heck is
tough.
Freddie? Freddie Swain. Why is Freddie Swain on the team in a start seven? Um, yeah, I don't think there's a counter here that I like, actually, now that I think about it. I really feel like you need to keep Jacobs, personally.
Yeah, and I can definitely understand that. So, I mean, once again, I'm happy to do this trade because it is a smaller league. Having, you know, Jamar Chase and essentially the tight end one currently, if I'm not mistaken, actually, maybe I think it's Brock Bowers. That's actually might be tight end one. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's actually not the tight end one at all so far in the first 2 weeks. It's still Isaiah Likely, which is funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I understand Zach's rationale. I would still have Jamar Chase since it is a start seven, but in a smaller league, running backs are more important. If I can send Mason for a trade, and try and tier up in some sort of way before CMC comes back, I would, but I understand
Okay.
both sides.
All right, yeah, I am going to go ahead and choose the Sam Laporta side. Like I said, I just don't think you have the team depth to do this. I still think Sam Laporta is going to be great rest of season,
Hmm.
and I believe Jamar Chase will outscore Adams, but I don't know that. So it's just not enough for me to give up a superstar like Jacobs. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say, hey man, Badaki and I had differing opinions. Feel free to check out the start of today's stream. Okay, cool. So, again, if you guys ever want to ask a question through the website, that is how you can get it done. But the other way that you can the other way that you can support and get your question prioritized is by super chatting. And we do have some super chats. We will get to the normal questions, but any super chats will skip the queue. Do us a
Yep.
favor, smash that like button. We got a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, we know we can get there. And let's get this thing going, okay? So the first super chat here is from Darth Twerk.
Darth
Alave
Twerk and
or Godwin as my flex.
this is Chris Godwin for me.
Yeah.
I think what we've been seeing with him feels pretty consistent, feels pretty confident. Alave should have a good game this week, but for me this is Chris Godwin, and I have to see it before I believe it with Chris Olave. I mean, Chris Godwin right now wide receiver 1 on the year so far in
Yeah.
the first 2 weeks, so I'm gonna rock with the points and the targets.
Yeah, no, I think I lean Godwin as well, but I do think this is a potential huge game for Chris Olave. I mean, this could be massive for him, but overall, I agree. There's just more belief in the Godwin side through 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate you though, Dark Twerk. Fab says, "Hi, guy. Please help with lineup half PPR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex." So essentially, you need to start 5 out of these players that you're naming. So you have Mason, Jacobs, Pollard, London, Dell, Pickens, Reed, Shakira, Mooney. Um, it's Mason and Jacobs for sure at the running back position for me. I would start them both of those guys over Pollard. Um, at the wide receiver position, I would say this is Reed if Jordan Love plays and London. And then at the
Mhm.
flex position for me, this would be Tony Pollard. So once again, on my side, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Mason, Tony Pollard, Drake London, and Jaden Reed if Jordan Love plays.
If Love doesn't play,
If Love doesn't play, I would personally be going Tank Dell.
yes. All right, we're on the same page there. But it is very, very close. All right, we got another super chat from One Kicks. He says, "Would you trade Rashee Rice for Brandon Ayuk?" Um, Yeah, I would personally rather have Rashee Rice rest of the season, especially considering when
Yeah.
Debo comes back.
Yeah.
If you guys were able to watch the Flock League this week, I had an offer on the table, but I just felt like going from the offer was I would get Rashee Rice and Kyle Pitts. I would have to send Brandon Ayuk and Trey McBride. To me, the upgrade from Pitts to McBride was just massive for the other side. I didn't feel comfortable doing that, but if it was a straight up trade, then yeah, I would have taken Rice over Ayuk rest of season.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Give me Rasheed Rice as well. I completely agree.
Especially now
Thank you
that
so
there's
much for
no
that super
Pacheco,
chat.
by the way, I feel like they could be throwing the ball more in Kansas
More.
City. I think
I think so
this
as
is
well.
a lot of hope for Kelsey owners, worthy owners. I mean, we'll see, but they should throw the
Yeah.
ball more.
I completely agree. Give me Richie Rich. Big Mac, appreciate you. He says Stark Kincaid or Ferguson this week. I would comfortably say we're both saying Kincaid this week. You let me know if I'm wrong in that first part of that
Yeah,
question.
but I mean, nothing would surprise me with this question.
No, yeah, no question. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so
Um,
you can make an argument that Ferguson, game script wise, might be more needed. So that
mm,
is a little bit of a concern when you think about it from that light. Versus the
yeah,
Ravens, whereas we've got the Jags and Bills playing. But yeah, I still
yeah,
would go Kincaid, especially considering Ferguson is coming off an injury. So that's kind of like you're pulling at strings to make a decision. But yeah,
yeah. I agree. I feel like Ferguson. I'm a little bit skeptical. I have Ferguson in a bunch of leagues. I'm not sure if he's going to be on the field the majority of the time, or if he's going to be like more of an ease in this week 3
well,
matchup.
Luke Schoonmaker looked pretty good too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think like if he is available, which he is going to play, I'm not necessarily sure is like he is going to be the number one guy or number one tight end specifically on the field until he is 100%. Maybe he's 70%, 80% and willing to play. I'm just not necessarily sure with all the details. They haven't really
It's good that he was a
gave too
full
much about that.
participant, though. I mean, that's certainly a
Yeah,
bright side. But
encouraging,
yeah,
sure.
Luke Schoonmaker was a second round pick himself, or second or third, I can't remember, but he had
I think it was
pretty
third.
decent draft
Yeah.
capital. Um,
Yeah. The second part of this question says, who do I start in the flex? Amir White, Waddle, Amari Cooper, or Brian Thomas? Um, the person who has the best matchup out of all these guys is Amir White. I'm not necessarily sure I personally would be starting Zamir White over Amari Cooper or Waddle this week. Let me just triple check
I would
between
start
Amari
Zamir
Cooper and
White over
Waddle.
Waddle, but if I had a name like Amari Cooper as an option, I probably would lean Amari Cooper there.
Yeah, and that's where I
Um,
was going to go. I'm going Amari Cooper as well.
yeah, so we're on the same page. I mean, look, I could see Zamir White being the answer there. The only the only way Zamir White isn't good this week is if Andy Dalton just completely revives this offense and it's like
Yeah,
a truly competitive game. That's the only way. But Amari Cooper, I believe this could be a get right game. We'll find out though.
yeah, I agree.
Joe, I appreciate you, Joe. He says, "Who would you rather have, Whittington or Vele?" This is definitely Jordan Whittington for me. We don't know how long Cooper Cup will be out, but Whittington was one of my favorite stashes. He was one of my favorite waiver wire pickups, and they have been talking about you know making him a crucial part of the offense without Cooper Cup. When Cooper Cup went down, he played every single snap that Cooper Cup was going to play. So I think there's just enough excitement there with Stafford and McVay for me to go that way.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Joe. I don't really have that deep of I guess a conviction of either of these guys. The reason why I would go Vele is because I think there's less competition there, and then when Puka and Cooper Cup comes back, I'm pretty sure whenever that is, we're probably gonna say just drop him, Whittington. And I feel like Vele, who got 8 targets in week one,
Sure.
is that going to continue? I'm not necessarily sure, but I'm going to be going with the guy that might see the field more overall in the season rather than, the 3 to 4 weeks that maybe Jordan Whittington is going to bring. But he does have the higher upside within that span, so that makes sense. Um, so yeah, once again, don't have a big conviction on both either of those guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Frank,
Um,
appreciate the donation
Frank,
from Frank. He says, "My quarterback is Geno. Should I try to upgrade? My team is Gibbs, Connor, Zamir White, Singletary, London Waddle." Well, like, funnily enough, what really is an upgrade at this point? Like, Geno Smith through 2 weeks has been a top eight quarterback both weeks. He's a quarterback 10 on the week. Just the way the points have
on the
worked
year,
out.
yeah. Hmm.
So who are you going to upgrade to? Mahomes? That doesn't look like an upgrade right now. I mean, Mahomes is being well outscored by most quarterbacks. Um,
I guess you can definitely try and buy low on a quarterback, maybe. But yes, like I don't know, from the finishing in the first 2 weeks, doesn't feel like there's big upgrades
What
for
I've
sure.
what I've seen personally from the Seahawks is enough to be like, okay, I think they're going to throw the ball a lot this year. And if you look at their schedule, so Miami this week, that's a tough one to predict. But then Detroit, San Francisco in week 6, Atlanta in week 7, Buffalo in week 8, the Rams in week 9. They'll probably have their healthy team back. Then the Niners, Arizona, it's like pretty friendly for
Yeah.
game script narratives.
Yeah, no, I can definitely understand that. I see that. I see that. Yeah, but there's not that many people you can upgrade to. You're not gonna upgrade unless
You
look,
kind of
if
you want to
I would
hit
say
on a
this.
late round quarterback like that and have a strong team, to be honest.
I would say this. If you can upgrade without giving too much to the quarterbacks that aren't doing too well, which I doubt you can, I would. Like if you tell me some guy wants to give you Patrick Mahomes because he's doing shit, he doesn't believe in him, I would do that still. But I'm not like trying to force something. Yeah, just
Yeah,
chill with Gino.
if you can package Zamir White and Gino and go out there and get an upgrade, sure, but I wouldn't force it. Here's another
Yeah.
super chat from Don't Worry. I'll be right back. I need a cough drop.
Yeah, no worries. He says start flex non PPR. It's non PPR. Dobbins, JSN, Waddle, or Worthy. For me in a non PPR standard league, this would be J.K. Dobbins. Even though this is a tough matchup, I'm kind of believing in him to get those opportunities. He's playing the Steelers. Would I be surprised if he? I mean, let me just triple check before I put my foot in my mouth. But I mean, but he's been obviously 10 attempts on the ground in week one and then 17. So I think he might stay within that 13, 14, 15 type of range coming into this game, even though it is a tough matchup. But give me Dobbins in a non PPR or standard league. Just Chrome, thank you so much for that super chat. He says Baltimore defense worth keeping season long. Only see four matchups that they can be startable, and they have tough schedules and new defenses coordinator. Any thoughts? When it comes, look, I would say there's definitely other defenses that you could stream. There is going to be tough matchups. I think that the next couple games is not easy, right? You have Dallas this week, then Buffalo, Cincinnati, and then you have Washington, Cleveland. Like there's pockets of games. There are going to be better streaming options of, over the Ravens defense, but I'm still going to be. I'll probably still rock with them unless like the whoever's playing the Panthers is out there. Maybe
I
I'll
feel like
start them.
I feel like when you draft a defense high, you kind of like put yourself in this position where you're like, oh, but I took them like as one of the first defenses, and they have good players, and but the reality is for me, defense is just all about matchup. Like, what is the matchup?
Yep.
So, to me, I would totally be willing to move on from them. If you've got the Bucks out there who face Denver, great, let's stream them. If you got the Raiders who face Carolina, let's stream them. It's just a week by week. I feel like you have a lot of freedom when you just drop them and you're like, all right, let's just figure this out every week. I feel like it brings a lot of freedom.
I completely agree.
Hey guys, just a little update. We have a like goal of 100 likes. With your help, I know we can do it. So be a friend, smash that like button. We are answering questions from top to bottom, but you'll notice that the super chats, people who donate, they do get their question prioritized. So that is an option. Yeah. Jamie is the next one.
Jamie, we appreciate you. He says start 3 full PPR: Dobbins, Higgins, Aaron Jones, Waddle, Deontay. Also, you guys are crushing it. Can't wait to hit 50K soon. Hey, we appreciate you, Jamie. So start 3 out of these names. I think Higgins is a must start this week. So I would say Zach and I will both agree it will be T. Higgins, which he is confirmed playing. And then out of Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Waddle, and Deontay, I think Deontay is a sneaky. I think Deontay is like if you like to party this week. If you like to party, hey, maybe you should start Deontay Johnson.
That's an irresponsible party to be a part of, though.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, like once again,
that's when your parents are like, you shouldn't hang out with those friends. And then
you shouldn't be hanging out.
When you hit like 30 years old, you were like, oh, you know what? They were right. I shouldn't have hung out with those friends.
But you had the time of your life at that party, even though there was shit that was going down in that party that you shouldn't have been part of.
But you have to see a psychiatrist twice a week now because of those kind of parties. Is it worth it? Look, to me, Dobbins has a terrible matchup, but I think he is your best option here. So it would be Dobbins, Higgins. I mean, Higgins is your best option, but then Dobbins. And then between Aaron Jones, Waddle, and Deontay, I would just throw Aaron Jones out there simply because if they have goal line opportunities, Aaron Jones has a chance. I think Waddle and Deontay's shot at a touchdown is just lower. But I have Deontay in quite a few leagues, and I am really glad to see a change there and hope that it equates to reliable targets. But I'd rather see that first.
Yeah, you'd rather see it first than do anything. I would say this. Yeah, Aaron Jones feels like the safest person. I think Waddle and Deontay could have the same outlook this week. So that's why I was like, if you just want to see something new and fresh with Andy Dalton, if you didn't want to start Aaron Jones, I would go Deontay Johnson. But once again, that's tough to say because the Seattle Seahawks secondary is great. You have Skylar Thompson playing there. I'm not really confident in them. So Aaron Jones for the safety. If you like to party, I'll go Deontay Johnson there. So
be ready for a hangover.
Be ready for the hangover. Just Chrome, full PPR, Steele or Dottle. Also Hunt worth stashing. This would be Steele for me. Yes, Kareem Hunt is worth stashing, but this would be Steele for me. You let me know if we're different.
Yeah, so no, I would go Carson Steele. It's just there's this unknown tantalizing potential of could he be the RB1 in Kansas City? It's most likely a rotation, but if they have goal line opportunities, we already saw that last week. They gave him a goal line opportunity, and and Pacheco was still healthy. So Steele is just it's more interesting. There's a more exciting potential there, but that's where I would go. It could go either way, and then definitely Kareem Hunt's worth stashing. He won't play this week, but I still think he's worth the stash.
Yeah, I agree. Hem, thank you so much for the super chat. It says full PPR need help. Who should I flex? Pick 2, JSN, Tank, Akers, or Higgins. This is Higgins, and then for me, this would be That's between JSN and Tank. Let me just double check who I have ahead. I currently have Jackson Smith and Jigba ahead of Tank this week.
Yeah. So sorry, you said Higgins and JSN?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would lean as well. Akers is probably the best floor play, I would say, but I am gonna go Higgins and JSN.
Okay.
Um, have you seen? Do you want to tell people that you're black? I don't know why. Like in some of like comments in the flock league, people don't believe you're black for some reason. I don't know why.
It's because I look more Spanish than black, but I'm Spanish and black. So I
Yeah,
think that's what's funny. Like
it's so weird, right? Like,
In America, I'm Spanish. Like I'm just Spanish. In
mm,
Australia, I'm black. Like they just see me as like a, an islander or like an Aboriginal person or indigenous person. Now you can't say that. But yes,
to me, you're a friend. Okay, that's what you are to
yeah.
me.
Someone
Um,
says I'm Hawaiian, but I'm nowhere near Hawaiian. I may look Hawaiian, but I'm not Hawaiian.
yeah, that's hilarious because this person probably doesn't know much about Islander culture. You and I living in Australia, you are nothing close to an Islander. Like, they are awesome people, like such a cool community and culture, but you are nowhere near Islander culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay. Anyway, I keep
Uh,
seeing those comments. I'm like, that's so random. Anyway, what's the next
yeah.
super chat? Chef?
Chef. Yeah, he says final flex. Gamble on Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Whittington, Terry, Zach Ertz, week 3. For me, this would be Terry.
Um,
I know this might be Robinson for you, but
it might be Robinson. I just
I think there's encouraging stuff this week about how they want to get Terry the Bull. Is that an absolute guarantee? Probably not. But I think at the end of the day, if obviously situation and game script matters. Obviously, Puka and Cooper Cup are not in the game. I just don't know if I just feel like Terry's gonna have the floor, and Terry, all he needs to do is catch that one ball and change his game. Where maybe Demarcus Robinson gets 6, 7, 8 targets, but maybe has 8 points.
that's what I want to rely on though.
Yeah, which I understand in a PPR. So
And especially
I
knowing
definitely get
that,
it.
like, I love Jaden Daniels, but if we're talking about relying on a quarterback right now, that'd be Stafford for me. So I will go D Rob there personally. And love Terry.
Yeah,
Hope he figures it out, right? Mr. Tres Cerro Cinco, appreciate you. Hey guys, you are not obligated to donate a super chat, but breaking news: if people donate to us, we are going to take time and answer their questions first. Okay, I know that upset some people, but I don't know what to tell you. If people are going to donate to us, of course, we're going to take time and say thank you and see their questions first. So that is an opportunity that you have. But Mr. Trey Saracinko is the next one. He says, would you drop Bucky and Madison for Jennings and D-Rob? So random, like, why do you have to drop both for both? That's what I don't understand. But
I would drop Madison for Jennings or D Rob.
yeah,
I think I would do it for both actually.
I'd keep Bucky
Um,
of all these names.
Yeah, out of all these names, I would keep Bucky. But like, if you're in a struggling week and you need like high upside plays, Jennings and Demarcus Robinson are going to give you that this week because Debo is out, and then obviously Cooper Cup and you know
Yeah.
Cooper Cup and Puka is out. So it just really depends on what you need this week. But yes, I would be keeping Bucky as well. I like. Come on, man, Bucky Irvin. I had him as like what my top. I forgot what it was. Top 3, top 4 running back in this class, and I was really excited about him. And then he went to the Bucks. Anyways,
Yeah.
um,
We'll see. We'll see what happens rest of the season. But yeah,
yeah.
if you need to like start this week, you can drop Madison for D Rob or something like that. Um, Misfit, I appreciate the donation, man. He says, start sit. I got Burrow, JT Dobbins, Neighbors, Cooper, Henry, Waddle. I bench. I got AJ Brown, David Montgomery, McLaurin, Singletary, and Baker. I guess like he's wondering if he should start anyone on his bench.
Bench,
I'd start
you
Montgomery
have
over Dobbins. I don't
Monty.
know if you would, but
I would. I'll start Monty over Dobbins, and I don't think there's anyone else I would start. Would you start Baker over Burrow this week? No, I'm starting Joe
well,
Burrow.
actually, what I would do is I would just put Montgomery in my flex instead of Waddle. I'd play Monty over Waddle and keep Dobbins in there.
Yeah, I'm happy with that as well.
Yeah, I really don't
Um,
like the matchup for J.K. But
yeah, it's a terrible matchup
you
against
don't
the
have a
Steelers
much
too.
better option, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you there. We appreciate you, Michael Hanna. Hey, shout out to Call of Duty. New Call of Duty comes out here in a month or so. Let us know if you play if you like the new Black Ops beta. I liked it. It was fun.
I never got a
Michael
chance to
Hanna.
play it. I downloaded it and then never had a chance to play it, unfortunately. So first
Um,
world problems, I guess.
it's good. It's good. I think we'll have fun. It says I have Tolbert and a Dunze. Who should I start as wide receiver 3? This is Roma Dunze without Keenan Allen. Correct
Oh
me if
yeah.
I think Keenan is confirmed out, right? We'll just triple check
Yes,
that.
Keenan Allen is out. This could be like the big blow up game for a name like Roma Dunze. The matchup is incredible.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So phenomenal. It should be absolutely fantastic.
Hell yeah, DJ Moore. Come on. I'm believing.
Um,
Appreciate you,
and
Michael.
Michael, your super chat did show. It did show, brother. All right, next super chat is from Brandy Hill Senior. Says full PPR start Waddle or Jennings as my wide receiver too.
Like in this, I feel like Jawan. Jawan is just you never know what's gonna happen. You know, actually, I'm going Jawan Jennings with confidence. Two
Yeah.
reasons: Debo's out, and so is George Kittle. That's that's all I need. Actually, I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm second guessing that. Who else they gonna throw it to? They don't have Rick. Ricky's not stepping up. CMC's out. So Ricky's out. CMC's out. Debo's out, and George Kittle. Mason's
Yeah.
going to get the ball 25 plus times, and he's either going to be Brandon Ayuk or Jawan Jennings.
I'm hoping they lock Ayuk down.
Or the error can, for personal reasons, or it
Yep.
can just be a Jacob Cohen game, and I'm buzzing. Oh, that's
Um.
hot.
Yeah, I would go Jennings as well. They're literally one spot difference in my rankings, but I would go Juwan. The difficult part is Waddle has this ability to pay off a play with just one snap. Juwan does not
Yeah,
have that ability.
it's
But
a tough game. It's a tough matchup, though. Like, I don't think the Seahawks is an easy matchup, and their secondary is pretty good. Um,
yeah, no, I don't
but
disagree.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just Juwan Jennings has a better quarterback play. It's just better offense. It should be at least. So yeah, that's where we would lean. Okay. Joel is the last super chat for now, and if there aren't any more, we'll get to these normal questions. He says, stream Tampa Bay or Bears defense. Turnover upside with Anthony Richardson is a question.
Yeah, no question. I think both of these defenses specifically, like I think the Bears defense, in my opinion, is better than the Bucks defense. I think they're going to get a lot more sacks and turnover worthy plays, but I'm going to lean with the rookie quarterback, and I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean,
They
Bo Nix has
did
been making a
lose a
lot.
couple people on their defensive line, which is a little
Yep.
concerning to me.
I
But
just think I'm leaning on the mistakes that Bo Nix is gonna be making, and this offense has been struggling to score. Where Anthony Richardson still can move the ball down the field and score. I mean, you kind of have to give him props now having Josh Downs in the lineup as well. Is this going to change the offense? You have Jonathan Taylor. I think there's less talent on the Broncos. I'm gonna lean Tampa here, but I love the
yeah,
Bears defense. Like Bears have a really good defense.
yeah. Overall, I think I agree, but it is very very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, we almost got off the super chats, but we have another one from Beware. So I appreciate you guys. If you want your question prioritized, super chat is an option. Otherwise, we'll go in order with the normal questions. But of course, if you're going to donate, we'll prioritize you. Zach Charbonnet or Kyron Williams this week? I definitely understand the question. I'm just going to go Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely get it. I get why this is a question. Kyron's been saved by touchdowns, but Charbonnet, I said this week, I stand by it. I don't think he's a top 40 running back in the NFL today, the way he looks right now.
The only
It's
reason
purely
why
a volume play for him.
Yeah, the only reason why I would go Zach Charbonnet here, and I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying I can see why there's an argument. Um, is because Miami currently give up these seven most points to the running back position.
Yeah.
And Kyron Williams, he is respectfully the only weapon in this offense outside of all those other players until Puka and Cooper Cup come back. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it's do you like to party? That question, in my opinion. Um, I'm
Hmm.
going Carbon still, but I think Zach Charbonnet could have a great game. even
Who's
though
going to
he's been
play in the slot for the Rams this week? That's what I want to know. Who's playing in the slot? Because San Francisco gives up the second most points to slot wide receivers. That's what I want to know.
mm,
But anyway, I don't think we know that.
mm,
All right, we got another super chat from Stan219. So the super chats are rolling in. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the donations. 12-man PPR flex, Xavier Worthy or T. Higgins. Love Xavier Worthy as a
yep,
player, but
yep.
T. Higgins matchup is just too juicy to not put him out there, in my opinion. Washington, they give up the most points to fantasy wide receivers, to fantasy quarterbacks. Their defense is bottom 5 in pretty much every metric, every yardage stat. So it's T. Higgins. Like, anyone can bust, but T. Higgins, it's just incredibly enticing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Coming back, first game back against Washington. Start T. Higgins with some confidence this week. Zach Shade, appreciate you. He says Cousins, Lawrence, or Watson 6-point passing touchdowns. Who are you starting?
Yeah, this is
Um,
a tough one because Lawrence has been awful. I don't think I'm playing him.
yeah, and Kirk Cousins against the Chiefs at home. I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins here. I'm going Kirk
Versus Kansas
Cousins.
City, though?
Yeah,
Hmm, that's tough for me. I can see why that would be the play, but I think I have to go Watson versus your Giants.
that's fine. I mean,
Um,
Chiefs do give up some good points to the quarterback position, though.
I think that's a little bit skewed from week 1 Isaiah Likely, though.
Sure.
But, I mean, when you face two elite quarterbacks, I think you're liable to give up points. I don't know. I can see how it's Kirk. They're one spot difference in my rankings. I don't know. You know what? It's really hard to trust either of these names, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna go with the most talented team here: Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, offensive coordinator, and Zach Robinson. I'm just gonna ride Kirk Cousins. Maybe last week is exactly what they needed to get this offense rolling there against the Eagles. I don't know. I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, I don't have a strong conviction on this one. I might lean Watson just because of the matchup, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I appreciate the donation. All right, we got another super chat here from Brisket. I appreciate you, man. You're skipping the queue here with that donation. He says weekly Richardson or Daniels question. What are you doing this week?
This week it's Anthony Richardson for me, but I don't love it.
I don't know if you know this, by the way. This might change things for me. Michael Pittman did not practice on Friday. He's dealing with like 2 or 3 different injuries. Does that change anything for you?
Um, I think it kind of evens out because Josh Downs is back. And I'm not saying Josh Downs is anywhere near the talent, but at least
Sure.
like, you lose a guy, you gain a guy. He's probably just going to be in the same position that he was without Josh Downs.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm gonna lean Jane Daniels there just because Pittman's not there, but they're back to back in my rankings, and this is one of those situations where again we don't like the idea of stacking quarterbacks on the same roster. We had a lot of people this year who went Mahomes, Daniels, who went Kyler A. Rich, who went Stroud, Kyler, Stroud, A. Rich, and it's just every week you're in this position where you don't know what call to make. So I would always suggest to try and use one of those quarterbacks to upgrade the rest of your roster and just ride it out with one of those names.
yeah,
But yeah, that's a tough one. All right, we got another super chat from Stan219 who says 12-man PPR, wide receiver 2, Waddle, McLaurin, Coleman.
this is Terry.
Is it?
It is. I understand the Waddle sentiment. I just trust in. I
Oh,
honestly,
I don't
I
know how
trust in.
trust can be a word used in this matchup.
I don't. I can't trust Skylar Thompson either, and I just trust Terry. I trust Jaden Daniels and Terry, even though it's only been 2 weeks with them.
As
Genuinely,
a Commanders fan, I love that, but I don't understand it. His A dot's been so low. There's been no chemistry. They haven't been able to stretch the field
Mhm.
vertically. I'm just going Waddle here. Look, Terry McLaurin, they want to get him involved. I mean, to me, the report is funny because, like, yeah, Of course they do. Like, I'm sure they've wanted to do that the entire year. Maybe this is the week that they do, but I just feel like Waddle's is a one play away from breaking it and making it pay off for you. I think Terry needs more consistency, and we haven't seen that. I mean, we haven't even seen like a red zone target yet for him. So it's close. Love Terry. It's it's a wait and see for me with Terry right now, personally.
Okay. Yeah.
But I definitely
I
get
can
it. I
definitely.
definitely get why you'd go that way. Hey
Yeah.
guys, appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you don't know, we're answering start, sit, trade, whatever questions you got for week numero trace. Um, and super chats do skip the queue. Otherwise, we're going in order, okay, from top to bottom. And the first question I can see in order that's non super chat is from Akshay. He says start one wide receiver, London, Brian, Amari Cooper, Jawan Jennings, or McConkey. To me, this is between Cooper and London, and I'd love to know which way you lean.
Um, I would be going Drake London still.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm going Drake London. My rankings say Drake London. Amari Cooper, phenomenal matchup against my Giants. He should have a great bounce back week. But
I
I've said this in the Fantasy Short channel, like just expect inconsistencies. But I also want to be proven wrong as well, right? I want to.
I do love Drake
Oh,
London. My big concern with London is Kansas City. They pretty consistently take away your number one weapon, and I'm trying to think through who that would be here in Atlanta. I feel like that
well,
is
that's
Drake
what I was gonna
London.
say. I was gonna say, if anything, it should be Bijan.
Well,
But
I
I
mean
get
like
what you're saying.
as a passing
Sure.
weapon, but
Yeah. I
um,
mean,
I do slightly lean Cooper here. They're back to back in my rankings. I just think it's a better matchup, and I do worry that Kansas City and Spagnolia over there, they are just
Giants legend, by the way.
yeah. You guys shouldn't have let him go. Dude's a freaking
I mean,
unit.
it was a freaking. Oh, yeah. We just had to reset our franchise, and
Yeah.
everyone left.
I
Miss
lean
you,
Cooper,
Eli.
but I could see it go either way. All right, we
Yeah.
do have some super chats. These guys are skipping the queue here with these donations. We appreciate the support. Papa Trisker says start three: Akers, Pittman, Ford, McLaurin, and Brian Thomas. I'm starting Akers.
Yep.
Pittman, I don't think Pittman plays, guys. He didn't practice on Friday, so I don't think you'll have him as an option. And if that's the case, I'll just go McLaurin and Brian. If Pittman does play, I'll probably still go the other names just because of the injury.
Yeah. Yeah. I rock with you there.
Yeah. Okay.
Um.
Appreciate the donation. Shrey is, I almost said Shrek is life, but Shrey is the next donation here. I appreciate you. PPR pick 3. Akers, Zamir, Pickens, Amari. What are you thinking here? A
One
very
for
similar
sure is
question to what we
Amari.
just got, but
Look, I'm going to go the running backs at Amari here.
okay.
Um, Zamir has one of the best matchups. Amari should have a good bounce back game. Eckers taking over Joe Mixon's role here. George Pickens just has a tough matchup against the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken, as well, also give up the least amount of points or the second least amount of points to the wide receiver position. So give
They've been
me the
locked down
running
so
backs in Amari.
far. It's hard to know exactly how reliable it is because they've had cupcake matchups, but I tend to agree with you, and that's the logic I would use as well. Based off the information we currently have, Pickens is the one I would sit. So that's a very, very close one, though. And, you have to recognize that if you sit George Pickens, he is an all world talent and he can always overcome a matchup, but the matchup says no. And certainly the offense says no. I mean, Fields hasn't passed for over 160 yard once in a game so far. I mean, I think they're bottom 5 in passing attempts. So how do you really trust that? All right, we got one from Akshay here up at the top. He says start 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Tyreek, J-Mo, Neighbors, Josh Jacobs, Metcalf. Oh my gosh.
What is this, Akshay?
How are we supposed to make this decision, Akshay?
I mean, 8 man or something. This is an 8 man league, surely.
Um, well, you start Tyreek Hill, you start Malik Neighbors, and you start Metcalf, right?
Yeah, you got to go with those guys.
That's incredibly impossible to answer, though. I could easily see us getting that wrong. We got a super chat from Dave. So Dave is skipping the queue here with his donation. I appreciate you, man. He says trade AJ Brown and Brian Thomas for Nico and DK. This is pretty easily the Nico side. I don't understand
I
the
agree.
Brian Thomas DK swap. That part makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Give me Nico and Brian Thomas. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that Nico is. I mean, he's on the field right now. I think Nico's going to be mid to early second round pick next year if he continues the way he's playing.
Yeah, I could easily see that. I mean, right now,
Yeah.
I think if you said who scores more points per game rest of the season between Nico and AJ Brown, it'd be a tough question to answer. So I just
Yeah.
don't understand why the Brian Thomas side of that makes sense for whoever did it. But we do appreciate
Yeah,
the
I
super
agree.
chat, man. We got another super chat from Mike Daniels,
Mike Jones.
but I don't see a
I see.
question from him. Do you?
I do not see a question from him.
All right, let's wait for him to
Um,
pop that question in there then. Maybe this is his first super chat. I know a lot of people, it's their first super chat. They're donating on the stream for the first time. We appreciate you guys. Um, we got people answering questions, which when we get to normal questions, we'll make it very confusing to track what's a question and what's not. But I love the community here. I love that we're all
yeah.
chipping in to help each other out. I don't see a question from Mike. Mike, drop a question in the chat. You don't have to super chat again, but we'll go to Isaac for now. We'll wait on Mike's question here. Full PPR, Dobbins or Higgins at the flex? For me, this is T. Higgins.
Yep. Agreed.
I have said this a lot this week. I'm telling a lot of people to start T. Higgins, and it
Hmm.
could definitely backfire, but I just cannot sit out on that matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of these players that are playing are a lot of a lot of the skill players on Bengals. I feel like are a really good matchup this week. Zach Moss, T Higgins. If T Higgins wasn't playing, I said you should be starting Andre Yeshivas. So you have to start T Higgins this week, especially
Yeah,
with the Commanders
most points
secondary.
given up to quarterbacks and wide receivers, the Commanders. So the matchup is just too juicy, and Dobbins could totally overcome the matchup that he's in, but he is in a bad matchup. We have to recognize that. Slick Vic with a super chat. This is their first super chat. I appreciate you, man. That's kind. He says, pick one flex, T. Higgins or Brian Robinson.
T Higgins.
Yep, I'm going T. Higgins as well, but
T Higgins.
Brian Robinson looks so good. He looks so freaking good.
This offense is pretty bad though. But yes.
No, the offense is good.
Oh, Brian.
They're just
Sorry,
not
Brian
getting it into the
Robinson.
red zone.
I apologize. I thought is
Or they're
Brian
not
Thomas.
scoring it in the red zone.
Um,
No,
I
I mean, if
thought
you
he
watch,
said,
yeah. If you watch
I just
Washington, they're
thought,
constantly moving it down the field, though.
yeah, Brian Robinson's looking great. I thought
Yeah.
once again they said Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Brian Robinson. Many men got shot, got better.
Yeah.
Shout out to that.
Yeah. Shout out
Um,
to, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to shout out to there, but yes. So, yeah, I'll go T. Higgins over Brian Robinson.
T Higgins there. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna go back in order, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Joe.
Joel's
Joel.
the next non-super chat. Yeah, super chat skips the
Yeah.
queue, guys, but let's go to the next non-super chats.
Yeah, he says, "How do you feel about London this week? A little worried about him going against the Chiefs." I agree. I am worried. I feel like if you have other options that are better, you could go with him. But
Yeah,
I've
definitely
once again,
explore.
yeah,
Explore your options. I mean, I definitely get it if you have to start him. But yeah, it's just that defense knows how to lock down your number one. So you just have to hope that the Falcons are getting creative in how they're using Drake London. Is there any evidence so far that they're doing that? Doesn't feel like
little
it, but maybe
sell him high.
maybe we'll see. Larry's the next non-super chat. He says PPR need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Olave, DJ Moore, Godwin, and White and Metcalf. Thanks again.
This would be DJ Godwin and then DK for me.
Okay. This would be Olave, Godwin, and between DJ Moore and DK, I have to make a decision there. Love DJ Moore's matchup. Don't love the offense. Don't love the way it looks at all. But it would be DJ Moore. So it'd be those 3. Godwin, Olave, and DJ Moore for me. Very close. Dell or Higgins? We're gonna go T Higgins there. Love T
Yep.
Higgins this week. Eric says keep Parkinson or drop either Ertz or Strange. If you need to start this week, you should start Strange.
Yep. Agree.
Otherwise, you probably keep him. What's up, Max? He says, "Hi guys, need a quarterback and a flex, Purdy or Geno, then Zamir White, Ford, Steele, or Akers in a non PPR."
I need a quarterback. Purdy or Gino.
What do you think?
Uh, I feel
I'm
like
gonna
both
go
of these
Purdy.
guys have like weird matchups. I have Purdy higher than Gino, but both these guys like feel like this game should be easy for them, respectfully to the other
Sure.
team. And Zamir White, Ford, Steele, or Akers. Um, for me, this is Zamir White
Yeah.
based off
Wait.
matchup.
Oh, I'm going Akers of all those names.
Okay, that's fair.
I just think he's in the best offense. Will be forced to get the ball a lot because there won't be any Damian Pierce or Joe Mixon, obviously. So yeah, it is very close. I love Zamir's matchup, but I just think Akers is on the better offense. That's a close one, though. It really is. I mean, I
Yeah,
could see that going either way.
yeah. I'm just a little bit skeptical. I mean, I was a big Akers guy. You guys don't know I had
Yeah,
Akers
I
and
was
J.K.
not.
Dobbins in our dynasty league, and then ACL, torn Achilles, GGs to the dynasty league.
Yep.
Um, I get it. Better offense. I think this run for Minnesota is pretty decent. This defense is crazy. Um,
Mm,
I don't know if you've been seeing clips. I've been seeing clips everywhere about this Minnesota defense and Brian Flores and how he's been scheming it up, which I've never really thought about it the way he's been. People are breaking it up, which is kind of crazy. But I get it. I'm going to go based off matchup here, and yeah, I'm going based off matchup.
yeah, I can understand that. We did get a super chat from FZ Ware, so they are skipping the queue with this donation. I appreciate that, man. He says Higgins, Reed, Shaheed, Demarcus Robinson, pick two. This is T. Higgins. If Jordan Love plays, it's Jaden Reed. And if Jordan Love does not play, it's Shaheed for me.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I
same
completely agree.
page.
Yeah, same page.
Shaheed's got a great matchup. I mean, he could smash again. Um, yeah. What's funny is like Shaheed should play well in this game. So I could still feel the same way next week about Shaheed when he's now going to face Atlanta and then Kansas City in back-to-back weeks. But we'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah,
Derek Carr.
definitely read if Jaden Love or Jordan Love plays.
Jordan Love plays. Yeah, I agree. Um,
I think 369 is the next non-super chat. Super chats do skip the queue, guys. Otherwise, we go in order. And the next non-super chat is from 369. He says, Superflex, would you trade Carr or Sam Darnold? Who do you prefer rest of season?
Look, I was really big against Derek Carr this year, coming into this year, because I just wasn't believing in this offense. I and I'm somebody who just picked up Derek Carr for waiver wires. So at the moment, the way this offense is firing, give me Derek Carr. Um, but that can switch at any point in time, to be completely honest with you.
Man, I guess Carr is the answer. It just feels wrong.
Yeah, 100%. It feels terrible to say that.
I think if you look at
But
Sam Darnold's next couple matchups, it's hard to really pick him because he's got Houston this week and then the Jets in week 5. So I think this is all about like what point of the season you want these names because Carr's a start this week. But then after the bye week, Darnold has Detroit, the Rams, the Colts, the Jags. So after his bye week, I probably prefer him, but at this moment, I prefer Carr. It's a
yeah,
tough one.
yeah, it is a tough one. Appreciate you though.
Richardson or Dak? I think we
Um,
both go Richardson.
yeah, I agree.
Kelsey or Andrews? What are you doing this week?
Um, I mean, based off of points and what's been happening for the whole season, Andrews feels like they're safe for play, but based off of situation with no Pacheco, I want to start Kelsey. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm leaning A Wong. So if you want to chase points, go Andrews. That feels like the safer floor. Kelsey, at any point in time, it can just be the Travis Kelsey that we all know and love,
Hmm.
which is difficult.
I do slightly lean Andrews here just because I am thinking game script. Um, you know, Dallas, Baltimore. Both of these teams need to win. I think they'll be desperate. I think we'll see a lot of fourth down, you go for it on fourth down type situations. That's why I slightly lean Mark Andrews, just thinking through the game script, but it is very close.
Yeah.
He also says Jason or Dell. I'm going Jason.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed there with you.
And then one last, we have some super chats, but one last one from him. He says he wants to trade away Michael Pittman. Here's the unfortunate part, brother. Everybody does. So nobody wants Michael
Sorry.
Pittman.
That was
It's you're not going to be able to trade him away for anything worthwhile, honestly.
yeah,
Um,
look, sorry, I would just say this. I always say this because anything can happen. Maybe people love Anthony Richardson. Maybe there's a Colts fan in your league. See what you can get. Brian Thomas, Diggs, Amari. See what you can get. But anyways, continue.
yeah, no, we got some super chats. First one is from We Buy Homes Near You. Thanks for the donation. You are skipping the queue here with that. He says non PPR start two. Etienne, Monty Pollard. So no PPR involved here.
One is definitely
Probably
Monty.
I'm probably starting the two after Etienne if there's no PPR involved. So Pollard and Monty there.
Yeah. I thought you were to go. I thought you were to go ETN, so I was waiting for you. I would go Tony Pollard as well.
Not in the non
Um,
PPR. I wouldn't go Etienne.
yeah, that's fair.
It's just yeah. There's more reliability with those other names.
Yeah, I definitely get it.
Paul, appreciate
Paul
the
Miller.
donation, man. Yeah, he says Dobbins or Shaheed. I have Diggs and Rice, wide receivers. Monty
No wide
Henry at
receiver.
running
Yeah,
back. AJ Brown is out.
I'm going. I'm going cheat.
Are you? I think this is the point where I do just go Dobbins. Just knowing the amount of times he'll touch the ball,
Yeah,
it just makes it easier for me to take that. You have so many chances to pay off. I just don't know. Yeah,
yeah. Look,
I could easily see it being Shaheed. I just yeah.
which probably doesn't help you at all, Paul. Which I apologize. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go with the better matchup in Shaheed, even though I don't believe in his production long term. But based off the matchup, he should continue what he's been doing the past 2 weeks. Based off
Mm,
Dom's matchup, not saying he shouldn't be producing, not saying he's not going to produce, excuse me, just saying it's going to be more difficult to produce what he has 20 points, 20 plus points in the first two matchups of the season. That feels difficult based off the
yeah,
matchup.
I get it, but I don't know. I mean, would it surprise you if Shaheed has 3 targets and 1 catch next week? This week, it
No,
wouldn't surprise me. That's a problem. It's like I think
no, it wouldn't.
Dobbins
It
touches the
wouldn't.
ball 15 plus times, so it's a terrible matchup though. I mean, one of those targets could instantly pay off Shaheed's starting, as an option. So
Yeah.
anyway, what can you do?
Hopefully that helps.
All right, we've got all right, so the most recent non super chat I can see is from Ryan Allen. Ryan is the most recent non super chat. If you guys want to skip the queue, super chat is an option. Otherwise, we go in order. And Ryan says Henry versus Dallas, Pollard versus Green Bay, JMO versus Arizona. You can flex one.
You go ahead and okay, Ryan Allen, PPR Henry, PPR flex one, Henry Pollard versus Green Bay or JMO versus Arizona. Um, for me, this will be Derrick Henry.
That's my answer
Technically,
too, but it feels wrong.
yeah, it definitely feels wrong. My rankings, I'll tell you this. My rankings say Derrick Henry. My heart says Tony Pollard actually here
My
over.
rankings say Derrick Henry. My heart has heartburn thinking about the question. I prefer not to answer it, but yeah, I would go Henry. I really think it's Pollard though. Like that's the gut call in me.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you want to start Henry, you have to start Henry in the rankings,
Yeah.
but Pollard feels like the best matchup. I mean, JMO feels like a great matchup too against the
Oh
Cardinals. It
yeah,
should be a win
definitely.
game.
Yeah. C
So
Jack is the next non-super chat. He says, "Would you start Richardson or Mayfield?" We're gonna go Richardson there.
agreed.
Would you trade Keon and Pitts for Shahid and Ingram?
I would.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I'd
would.
feel fine with that. I do think
Even
Pitts
with Ingram's
is a
injury.
startable name this week, though. I think they'll try and take away London, and um, nobody gives up more points to tight ends than the Chiefs so far.
Mm.
That is where they're vulnerable. All right, we got a super chat from Tyler Sperry. So he is skipping the queue here with this donation. I appreciate that donation, man. He says, "Would you start Ford or Rome if Rome dropped Pirine or Hunt for Ford?"
Okay, wait.
Um, so
If Rome dropped,
would you start Ford or Rome? Let's start there. We're gonna start Rome Adunze, right?
agreed.
No Keenan Allen,
If
great
Rome,
matchup.
right? You said if Rome dropped P Ryan or Hunt for Ford.
No. Just one of those three names you have to drop, right? So for me, that would be probably Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. P Ryan. No, the way I'm seeing it is P Ryan or Hunt for Ford.
No,
Like drop either of those.
he's indicating that he has to drop one of those names. It's an or.
Sure. Okay. So then Scream Hunt for me. I would
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
We buy homes near you. I appreciate the donation, man. He says, which defense? Seahawks, Raiders, Green Bay, Steelers. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's have a look, shall we?
Um.
Seahawks face Miami.
Mhm.
Raiders face Carolina. That's really interesting, actually. I actually think it's the Raiders just because of their rest of season matchup.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I was going. I was gonna give you an order.
Yeah.
It'll be Raiders. Raiders just for this week specifically.
Okay.
We buy homes. It'll be Raiders, Seahawks, Steelers, and then Green Bay. That's where I would be going in my rankings.
Yeah.
So,
I agree this week. Very close, but I agree this week. All right, we got another super chat from Ryan here. I appreciate the donation, Ryan.
Ryan Kramer,
He
appreciate you.
says,
Yeah.
12-man PPR Superflex keeper drop someone for Huntley, May, Vidal, Tolbert. Um, okay, it would be Drake May. I'd pick up of all these names
Yeah.
in Superflex.
But who to drop?
Mooney probably, or Chase Brown,
Ty.
or Chandler.
Yeah. For me, it would be Ty Chandler. Out of all of these guys, everyone else I want to keep. I want to see what Mooney's going to do. If he's going to do it again. I want to keep Rico and I want to keep Trace Brown to see if that second half projection is still going to come about. So it'll be Ty Chandler for me.
Chandler feels more important than Chase Brown at this point. That's why that's tough for me.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
I probably would drop Chase. But I'm honestly shocked that in a keeper superflex league Drake May is available.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you need to do this right now, Ryan. Like if you don't have Fab, you need to go pick him up right now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one picked him up. Well, he
Who do the
probably can't pick
Patriots
him up
play
because he's
next?
Thursday night.
They're
Um,
gonna play him at some point, but it's probably not versus San Francisco. I think they make the change in week 5. I don't think they're
after
gonna throw
Miami.
May out versus San Francisco. At
I
San
mean, here's the
Francisco
stuff.
as well.
So then you think Drake May plays against Miami, then
At
Houston,
home.
Jacksonville?
It's
Right.
at
Okay.
home versus Miami. I think that's where you start him.
Yeah. I
But
get
I
it.
still think he should be rostered in every superflex league. And by the way, the O line is actually like I hear you, Ryan. But if you guys, okay, so Patriots fans would know this, but the offensive line is actually not that bad. They just had 2 starters out on Thursday night.
Oh, exactly. That's what I was about
Um,
to say. I think that's what a lot of
so
people are understanding.
their offensive line
Or
has been pretty decent. It's not been that bad. It's just they had multiple starters out Thursday night.
yeah, it's
Um,
not that we don't have faith in Huntley either, Ryan. It's just we would rather in a keeper league rather have Drake May. Let's just say Ryan, Drake May comes out and is a top 15 quarterback or top 10 quarterback the second half of the season. He's a franchise guy. He was a first round pick. You have a keeper league maybe next year. He's the keeper that you want to keep. or one of
Yeah.
the keepers,
If
right?
Tyler Huntley plays well, he's still a backup. He's still not someone
Exactly.
you're keeping. So upside is there
Yeah.
with May. But I hear you, man. If it's just a regular redraft league, maybe we make that decision differently. Catch 'em all Saul say, and by the way, we don't even know when Huntley will start. I mean, it is
Yeah.
possible that the Dolphins win this with Skylar Thompson. As crazy as that sounds, probably not going to happen. But
Yeah.
catch 'em all Saul with the next donation. I appreciate you, man. He says traded Mahomes for Bijan. May offer me Burrow for Rashad White. Accept or pick up Minshew. If I don't accept, do I start White or Worthy at the flex? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Are you saying in a one quarterback league, you got Bijan Robinson for Patrick Mahomes?
And then he said, then his friend offered him Burrow for Rashad White and accepted or just take Minshew.
Well, Rashad White is more valuable than Joe Burrow in a one quarterback league.
In the one quarterback, I said, I do not accept. Do I start White or Worthy at the flex? Yeah, okay. So that's good that you didn't take that. Well, that's a phenomenal trade for the Mahomes and Bijan trade.
The Bijan side wins by a landslide. If I don't accept, do I start White or Worthy at the flex? I'd go Rashad White.
Agreed.
And
Yeah, look, he said, or just pick up Minshew. Surely there's somebody better on the waiver wires, though. Like, and this is let's just say to start 12. I'll tell you exactly who's available in, for example, the Flock League that you should potentially pick up. Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, Deshaun Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins.
Deshaun Jackson, back from retirement.
Deshaun Watson, excuse me.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
well, can't pick him up.
I get it, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
there should be somebody better if this is a 12-man league.
Well, if Patrick Mahomes is getting if you can get Bijan Robinson for Patrick Mahomes, maybe everyone has like 4 quarterbacks rostered or something.
Yeah, and if you're maybe you're saying Minshew because he's playing the Panthers this week and maybe he's going to go off, but even then, I would still want those other quarterbacks over Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just stream the position. I mean, look, Burrow is one of my favorite starts this week, but that doesn't mean that's going to be every week. I just would rather stream the position than lose a starting running back. Appreciate the donation. Alan is the next donation. He says Cam Akers or Swift. I'm going to go Cam Akers. How about
Cam
you?
Akers. Yeah, this is Cam Akers for me.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Swift could not play any worse through 2 weeks. I don't think he could. I actually don't think it's possible for him to have played any worse than he has played. He averaged 1.29 yards per carry last week. That's
he was good.
as bad as it gets. It's like the equivalent of just taking a knee. Hey, every time we're gonna rush it with Swift, let's just take a knee instead. That's what's happening right now. We buy homes near you says last one, top 3 kickers y'all like this week. So whenever I'm thinking kickers, I'm thinking high over under games. I'm thinking attached to good offenses, and preferably in a dome. They don't have to be. I imagine Harrison Butker's already rostered. I imagine Kaimi Fairbairn is already rostered. Brandon Aubrey, Jake Moody. One guy I picked up in our home league, Banaki, was Evan McPherson. So if he's available, definitely want to pick him up. I think that's a scenario where the other team is just heavily favored. So you imagine field goals will be an option. Daniel Carlson versus the Panthers is really nice. Chase McLaughlin versus the Broncos is really nice. Tyler Bass
I would even say
versus the Jags. Jake Bates versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, even the Saints kicker, got his name.
He said Moody and McPherson are available, by the way. Then definitely pick up Jake Moody. That's wild.
Yeah.
How is Moody available? Isn't he like the number 1 kicker or something? He's the 4th kicker right now in fantasy. Yeah, okay. Pick him up.
Yeah, do your thing, baby. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat, though. FZ Ware, Shaheed, JSN, Waddle, Kincaid, Adunes, a wide receiver, and a flex. This one's for sure JSN, and I don't think it's easy between Shaheed, Kincaid, or Adunes. You said it was. For me, this is tough. This is a tough question. I'm gonna go high upside play here, and I'm gonna go Shaheed with the matchup.
So what was your answer?
JSN and Shaheed. It's a tough one.
Adunze is
But
super interesting now without.
he is very interesting without Keenan. But Keenan, he didn't respectfully, even though it was a tough matchup, he didn't really do much last week either.
Yeah, this is a
But
very
this
good
matchup
matchup
should
though.
be better.
It would
Yeah,
be a
but
Dunze and Jason for me. I could totally see how he would be the name, but I've said this without disrespect. The Colts are a mini. They're a mini Washington on your schedule. When you look at the Colts, you're like, oh, my players should go off. They are not stopping the run. They are not stopping the pass. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jason and Adunze there, but it's close.
yeah, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Mm-hmm.
Next one here is Elias,
Elias,
maybe
yeah,
Elias. Yeah, he said, "Who'd you start, Akers or Najee for running back, and then pick two." Let's start there, Akers or Najee. I would
Akers,
probably both say Akers. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then pick two, Pickens, McLaurin, Pittman, Jawan.
I don't think Pittman
Um,
plays.
so it's between Terry, Pickens, and Jawan. And I would say for me, this would be Terry and Jawan,
Okay, yeah.
based off of matchup here. And Pickens has a terrible matchup. Jawan, no CMC, no George Kittle, no Debo Samuel.
I'm still gonna go Pickens though. I think if you
That's
have an
fair.
option like that where, he's just one of the better players at his position, it's a terrible matchup, I get it, but Jawan Jennings is still like that spot start range for
Yeah,
me.
I get it. It's risky for sure.
I'm gonna
I
go
can definitely
Pickens
understand that.
and Terry there.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. Soul Train, how you doing, baby? He says PPR, Flex, Dobbins, Moss, or Akers. Out of all these guys, I technically have Moss higher than Akers
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
based off matchup here. Moss playing the Washington Commanders Monday night should be a smash start. He is also somebody that I said you should be starting coming into this week on the Fantasy Shorts channel. Definitely go check that out. But yeah, Zach Moss for me this
Yeah,
week.
no, I would definitely agree there. I mean, it's tough to sit your Bengals this week. Love Akers as well, by the way, but yeah, just this week specifically, I think Moss with that matchup is the play. All right, Melissa, thanks for the donation. Melissa from Australia, Charbonnet. She's been on the stream, you know, last couple weeks, and it's good to have you here. Fifth super chat. Charbonnet or Pollard? I'm gonna be going Pollard here. Tony Pollard,
Tony
love the
Pollard.
matchup.
Hmm.
Um, and if you own Tony Pollard, the hope for you is probably that Jordan Love doesn't play because that's going to make game script even better for you. But regardless, I think the answer is Pollard for me. He's just the better player than Charbonnet.
I agree. I completely agree. Tony Pollard, a must start for me. And once again, the Fantasy Shorts channel, one of the most underrated running backs coming out of the first
Yeah.
2 weeks. Honestly, to be completely honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tony Pollard. Um, Glockula,
Mm-hmm.
Braylon Allen, or Cam Akers. Well, Braylon Allen technically already played. If you're just asking me for overall rest of season, I want Braylon Allen.
Yeah. But
If
start
you
this
tell him,
week,
if
I
you,
don't think you can make that decision. Cam Akers is
yeah,
a start this week, but Allen is the one to hold. I think when Mixon's back, Akers is useless.
yeah,
You
completely
agree?
agree.
All right, guys.
Yep.
Super chats get answered straight away. Otherwise, we're going in order from top to bottom. No more super chats right now. And the next one I can see at the top is Cole. He says Dobbins or London.
This is London.
Yeah, I think this is Dobbins for me.
Okay.
Don't like either of these situations. Would you start Tolbert or Odunze? Odunze.
Dunze.
Slythe says Zamir or Akers. I'm gonna go
This is Amir for
Akers.
me.
I'm gonna go Akers there on
Okay.
the better offense.
Hmm.
Chandler Wright or Quorum as a pickup. I'd pick up Quorum. Um,
Agreed.
Paul
Agreed.
says PPR league start Dell or Shakir as wide receiver 2. I'm going Dell.
Agreed.
Tommy, your boy Bricks Bockley, one of our good friends. Deontay Johnson, a good flex this week. He's a good desperation play.
Yeah.
I could totally see this being a great week for Deontay Johnson. The issue is just we kind of need to see it first. It's a dysfunctional organization, dysfunctional offense, and I could see growing pains still, even with Dalton there. But I think he is going to be a big upgrade.
Yeah. Completely agreed.
We have a super chat
Um,
from FZ Ware, so they are skipping the queue here. Last one, Bengals or Seahawks defense this week. This is Seahawks for me. I don't think
this is Seahawks for me as well.
I mean, look, I could be wrong, but the Bengals are a fine play, but they're not like one of my favorites. Like Jaden Daniels has not been turning the ball over. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's not been taking sacks. They've been moving the ball down the field. They just haven't been able to score touchdowns. So I feel like you want to target a matchup where you are projecting a turnover, and that could totally happen because he's still a rookie. But
Yep.
I don't see it as like a one I'm targeting necessarily.
Yeah, this week for me is the Seahawks. But I would say if the Seahawks weren't available, I would be really comfortable starting the Bengals. I picked them up, but they also play, if I'm not mistaken, the Panthers next week. This is why another reason why I picked them up. But also that also depends on how Sam Darnold it looks next week as well. So or this week,
Yeah.
excuse me.
All right, we got another super chat from Sam M. Hey guys, if you want your question answered and you need it answered, super chat is an option. We are going to prioritize people's questions who donate to the channel, who donate to hear our opinions. So we appreciate you guys big time. We will do our best to answer the non-super chats, but of course, I think it makes sense, right, if people donate to prioritize their questions. Sam says 10-team half
Absolutely.
PPR, one quarterback start 7 with McCaffrey and Pacheco out on IR and Mostert being out. I have to start one of these guys at RB2, McLaughlin or Akers. This is definitely Cam Akers for
Cam
me.
Akers.
McLaughlin is not a startable asset, at least not based off what we've seen so far. I don't even know if I'm excited to roster him at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I dropped him. I dropped him, and I love Jaleel, and I just think this offense will struggle. I don't think this offense is going to continue to improve, unless Bo Nix takes a huge step in the second half of the season. But
which
yes,
he
give me
could.
Cam Akers, which he could. We're still Bo Nix believers, but give me Cam Akers for this week.
Tough spot to put him in this offense. But yeah, we're gonna
Mm,
go Cam Akers there. He's just on a much better offense, and he will get more touches than Jaleel unless Javante's injured. And even if Javante gets injured, I don't know if we could say that. It wouldn't be
yeah,
the case. All
I
right.
agree.
So, just so you guys are aware, YouTube will only let us go up so far in the chat. Okay. So, the next question that we can see that is non super chat is from Bounty. Drop a super chat if you guys want a question answered straight away. But the next non super chat we can see is from Bounty. Says, "Do I win this week?" We don't. No idea, brother. No idea. We don't know who your opponent has.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
What do you
Dre
think?
says Amari or Higgins. I'm going T Higgins.
Yeah, T Higgins.
Kincaid
We
or
answered
Deontay
after
in
Kincaid.
flex. Kincaid, yeah, I think so too. It's close though.
Okay for me.
Gino or Purdy, we're going Purdy. Dak or Baker, we're going Dak. Right?
Yep. Yep. I
Tyler
agree.
says, I need some help, y'all. So many injuries. Should I start Samaje, Chuba, or Jalen?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna start Shamaje.
Hmm. I think I lean Chuba. It's close. I have these guys in the same tier. But I do think I lean Chuba.
I don't like either of these guys, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna go with the better offense, and that's Samaje there. Because if Carson Steele fumbles the ball, is Andy Reid gonna put him in timeout? Hypothetically, he's a rookie. Does Carson Steele not carry the ball, and Samaje just takes over the backfield because they gave him the opportunities? They gave him the first and second quarter. Wasn't the case. Samaje comes in. These are big hypotheticals. I'm just going better offense in Samaje P. Ryan.
Yeah, I guess in my mind, I'm just going the guy I think is going to touch the ball more. Chuba 15 opportunities last week, so that's just where I would lean. I think the offense could be better.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um.
understand.
All right, we did get a super chat here from TJ70. Opinions on a trade. This is his first super chat. I appreciate that. I
Hey,
get
thank you so
Kamara
much,
and
man.
Keon Coleman for Jacobs and Waddle.
Also, okay. I mean, off the rip, off the rip, I don't want Keon Coleman. I'll tell you that right now. Even without Tua with Jalen Waddle. Uh, uh, and the fact that Tua could play this year makes me still want to keep Waddle and be okay with the Jacob side. I want Alvin Kamara long term over Josh Jacobs, but I still want Waddle long term without Tua, which makes me lean Jacobs in the Waddle side.
I don't know when we feel comfortable starting Waddle until like week 8 or 9 when Tua is back, if he is back. So that just makes me want the best player in the deal, which is Kamara.
Yeah, and that I really understand. I think in my eyes, this can hurt you in the second half of the season if Tua comes back. Let's say
Yeah.
you're winning games and Keon Coleman hasn't taken the steps that we all thought he would with Josh Allen.
We didn't really like
Yeah,
Keon.
we didn't, but a lot of people thought, right? And then Tua comes back in week 8. Waddle's a must start when Tua's on the field. So I get it. I love Owen Kamara, but I'm gonna give me Josh Jacobs on Waddle's side.
Yeah, look,
Hopefully that helps.
I can definitely see that. I'm going Kamara. I just think he's the best player in the deal, and I don't think you'll be able to start Waddle for like 4 or 5 weeks, maybe more, depending on Tua's situation.
And that's risky as well. Like if Tua says, you know what, I'm not going to play for the rest of the season, I completely understand.
Yeah,
like I want
it's
Keon
a
Coleman,
tough
but
call.
That's the risk that you have to take here.
But you can see, obviously, we have 2 different opinions, meaning it's probably a decent trade. All right, those are all the super chats for now. We're going to be live until 30 minutes.
Sorry, by the way.
Okay, my bad. We'll answer that. My bad. We'll be live until 30 minutes past the hour, just so you guys know. But he says sit, start Amari Cooper and Johnston. I'm going Cooper over Johnston. How about you?
Yeah, completely agree. Shout out to Quentin Johnson getting either Amari Cooper or Quentin Johnson. What has the world come to? Huh?
I know, right?
Wow. I wouldn't have. I'll be honest. I lost a lot of hope, but I have a lot of QJ.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
You have a lot of questions. All right, guys, we'll be answering questions for the next 6 minutes. That's 30 minutes past the hour. We appreciate y'all being here with us. Super chats do get prioritized. Otherwise, we go in order with whatever the quickest, or the latest chat that YouTube will let us see, and that is Keith. Jennings or Naylor? I'm going Jennings.
Agreed.
Is Raheem worth dropping? Probably not, unless you have a very small
Not
league.
Not yet. We need to wait and see him fully healthy on the field, even with Devon. But maybe it's too late.
Deontay or Brian? I'm going Brian.
Agreed.
Gil says Kittle out, Strange or Salbert. I'm going Strange.
Agreed.
Jason or Worthy? I'm going Jason. Likely or Andrews? I'm going Andrews.
Yeah, agree on both Jason and Andrews there.
Robert says need a flex, standard, Downs, Waddle, Ridley, Bucky Irvin. We're going Ridley.
Yep, I
Cooper,
agree.
Waddle, or Ford. We'll go Cooper there for me.
Yep, I agree.
We did get a super chat here, which is from MJ. It's their first super chat. I appreciate that. It says, my running backs are cooked. Who do I start tomorrow? Daddle, Madison, or Eckler? Madison could have a great game. I think this is
not the Madison guy. For me, this might be Austin Eckler.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Obviously had a great game against the Giants, but even in week 1 against Tampa, he's getting 4 targets in week 1, 3 targets in week 2, and having some big opportunities here. Give me Austin Eckler over Dowdle.
Yeah, we'll go Eckler as well. I'm just thinking game scripts. The Commanders could be down. Eckler could be used in the air. He's been really efficient. Like with every time Eckler has touched the ball, I'll tell you as a Commanders fan, every time he's touched the ball, it's been like vintage Austin Eckler. I'm convinced if Brian Robinson goes down with an injury, Eckler's like a top 15 play every week. That's how good he's looked. Anyway. All right, the next non-super chat. We're going to be live for the next 4 minutes. Super chat's an option if you need something answered, but the next non-super chat is from Frito Sauce. He says, Neighbors or Devonta Smith? I feel like Devonta Smith's a safer play this week.
Yeah, it's without A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Ridley, Higgins, Ferguson are likely. I'm going Higgins here.
Higgins. Yeah, no question.
All right, we did get another super chat from Jody Meeks. Shout out to you, Jody. And look at that profile pic. Is that prime Russell Westbrook? I knew I liked this guy. Hey, super chats do skip the queue, guys. Shout out to Jody for the donation. 12-team PPR start 7. He's got Allen, CMC, Pacheco, Mostert, Wright, Allen, Akers, Sharps, Godwin, Neighbors, Adams, Jaden Reed. Should I trade for a temporary running back? I think you have a temporary running back there with Charbonnet and Akers. I think you play it week by
Acres.
week, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. And if CMC still doesn't come back and Pacheco doesn't come back, obviously, and Mosley doesn't come back, honestly, you're starting Zach Charbonnet and Braylon Allen or Cam Akers. Like Braylon Allen has been pretty decent. He's not like gonna win you the week, but at least he's gonna give you a good floor and like 9, 8, 7 points. It kind of feels like he's gonna get a good amount of touches in the game so far. So
Mm.
don't strain yourself. Don't try and make a move because when CMC and or Pacheco comes back, you have a phenomenal team.
This is a team that I think would. So Dobbins should have a couple down weeks that he could overcome them, but Pittsburgh and Kansas City, and then he has a bye week. I feel like you're a person who, if Dobbins is like viewed as a sell after week 4 and heading into his week 5 bye week, I think you're a team that should probably go out and like trade for a Dobbins if people lose faith in him. But yeah, like right now, I would say, I mean, think about it. Are you going to trade for as Amir White? Like, you don't know when you can start him. DeAndre Swift, you don't know when you can start him. Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary.
I would say this,
You're
like,
not really
yeah,
trading for names that people
yeah,
want to trade away
and
right now.
I agree. And the person, if there was somebody, since this is a smaller league and it is a start seven, I would try and like if there's anyone else out of this team, I would personally be trading. It would probably be Devontae Adams because I still want Jaden Reed over Devontae Adams with Jordan Love. At least my opinion.
I
See
wouldn't
what you can
agree, but
get.
that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like go out and see what you can get with him. Or if you on Zach's side, maybe Zach will say go out and trade Jaden Reed or
No, I
Brian
don't.
Thomas because
I don't
it
want
is
to
a
trade
smaller
those names
league.
right now.
Yeah, I don't want to trade them either. I'm just saying, but since it's a smaller league, when you get to that point, how can you tier up and get
Yeah,
that, that better flex option? Like, because right now you have Godwin and Neighbors as wide receiver one, and then you have Adams as your flex. Can you package Adams and Reed at some point in time and go out and get a Nico, a Rice, and a Monra, something, right? A hypotheticals, um, because it is a star seven and it's a
I'd
smaller
also be
league.
willing to just see what I could get for Pacheco. I mean, knowing there's a chance he doesn't come back this year at all, what could you get for him? Like,
Yeah,
I'd be open to that. Just what names are out there? What could you get for Pacheco? I appreciate the donation, Jody.
yeah.
He says
Absolutely.
the next super chat is from Juan Deere, who says flex one Brian Reed, Adunze McLaurin. If Jordan Love plays, I'm going Jaden Reed. If Jordan Love doesn't play, we're going to Dunze for me.
Agreed.
Love the matchup
Completely
for
agree.
Dunze this week versus the Colts. This is probably the last question, unless there's any more super chats. 30 minutes past the hour now. Chris Cross says, "What's up? League mates don't value Mason because he's a temporary running back. Only offer I've gotten is Mason for Worthy, Scary Terry. Do I just hold? Yeah, you just hold
Yeah,
there.
you just gotta hold.
It's not worth it for you to lose a guy you're starting every week until CMC is back to gain a guy that you don't know if you can start any given week. You know,
Let me ask you this: would you trade Mason away if he had like a Bijan and a Josh Jacobs?
not for those
Like,
names.
no, no, not for those names. But if in his starting running back, Mason was his third running back, and CMC was going to come back, are you still willing to trade Mason for somebody in return? Like, I'm
For
trying to think. Let me
somebody,
pull up.
that's the
I
question for
need.
me.
Yeah.
JSN,
Um.
yeah. Jameson, yeah. But I think
Yeah.
you're getting names like Shaheed, no.
Okay.
D Rob, no. Waddle, no. Deontay Terry, no.
Say Flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't think that would happen though.
What about Tank Dell?
I think you're better off just holding Mason and starting him, getting some wins.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I'd take Calvin. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Just just
Yeah.
hopefully that helps there, Chris.
Yes. All right. We appreciate you guys big time. That is all the time we have for today. If you are watching this later and you want to ask us a question while we're offline, you can ask us a question at any time with this link that I'll put in the chat here. So feel free at any time to ask us a question there. We did get one more super chat, so let's answer that real quick before
Shout out
we
to
go
Marcus.
off. Yeah,
Mark,
Mark, your
excuse
first
me.
super chat. I appreciate you, man. He says Lamar at quarterback, Tyreek and Jennings at wide receiver. Etienne Robinson at running back, Bowers at tight end. Who do I flex out of Mark Andrews, Tank Dell Reed, Gus Edwards, Dowdle, Foreman, and Watson? For me, if Jordan Love's playing, Jaden Reed is the
Exactly.
name. If
Hmm.
he's not playing, I think Tank Dell is probably who you throw in there.
Yeah, Tank Dell has a higher upside. The guy that I would be contemplating between Tank and it would be Tank and Andrews.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, but
Where are you leaning here then?
I would go. I would go Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Mark Andrews.
Okay.
I think he's just more needed in this offense. And Tank Dell obviously with Nico and you know and Stephon Diggs. So Tank's still getting those opportunities. Just feels like they have to be on big plays now. Or Mark Andrews, I feel like could easily get 6, 7, 8 targets.
Sure. I guess I
But
get
it is
that.
tough.
I feel like Mark is not used the way he once was, but he's still a good play. You can make an argument that 4 Tank Dell targets are worth more than like 6 for Mark Andrews right now,
for
in my
for Mark
opinion.
Andrews.
That's
Yeah,
why
for
I'm
sure.
going Tank Dell.
At least like when you look at Tank Dell's opportunities, it's like, damn, if he would have caught all those 4 targets, like how many points could he have had?
Yeah, well, he would have scored a touchdown probably on one of those.
Yeah, I know,
Um,
which is tough. And I love Tank Dell. But yes,
yeah.
anyways, hopefully that helps, Mark.
All right, guys, we are going to log off for the day. If you don't follow us on Fantasy Never Stops with Fantasyland, go ahead and drop us a sub over there. Padaki's doing great work. Outside of that, enjoy the rest of your week.
Good luck this week.
Go get a win. We'll see you guys soon. All love.